Alright, this is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, we're going to juice the most ginger I've ever juiced in a single juicer at one time. We're going to call this literally the ginger torture test. Do not try this at home. This may clog or jam your juicer the way I'm going to juice ginger today. But I like to test to see how capable these machines are and which one may be the best one for you. I've juiced ginger in plenty of other juicers in the past, but I want to see how the two best juicers of 2025 work with the ginger. If you guys aren't familiar with these two juicers, they are my current favorites, each for different reasons. My first favorite is the Hurom H70. This is the one that is my daily driver. I use this juicer the most of any of the juicers I own, simply because it is the easiest to clean and it gets a solid yield every single time. It literally takes me 1 minute to clean. Link down below to my original unboxing video on that, and also of course it saves me the most time. Link below for my video on that as well, because you have very little user input to make your juice. You literally load up the hopper, shut it, walk away, it juices without you. Then when you're done and you have all the juice, you literally got to spray it off for 1 minute to clean. And also, of course, it has a full 15-year warranty, made by Hurom in South Korea, who's been making juicers for many years now, and especially they make juicers for some of their brands on the market. Next up, we have the Kuvings Auto10. The reason why I like this machine is because this is a classic design with a juicing screen and a wiping blade. And the main reason is because this has a 3-liter hopper, which is the largest hopper that a juicer comes with at this time. That being said, the reason why I like it even more is because you can buy for, I think, about $30 this hopper extension that you literally take off the lid, you put on this hopper extension, which is super ingenious. They don't make you buy a hopper that's larger. You can just buy a hopper extension. Drop this on, and now you have the largest hopper of any juicer in the world at this time, a whopping 4.2 liters. So you can load this up with a ton of produce, so that means you're going to have to fill the juicer up a lot less. Whereas over on the Hurom, the H70 has about a 1.8 liter hopper, so that's a lot smaller. That being said, this machine will take me about 4 to 5 minutes to clean. It's a little more scrubbing and cleaning. So you got to weigh out what you want to do. You know, for people that want to just juice a little bit at a time or even small batches, the Hurom H70 would be great. For those of you guys that just want to sit and do a batch juicing on a weekend and make like 8 to 10 quarts, well, hey, that's where the Auto10 with the hopper extension comes in. Actually, when I'm making my large green juice batches, I generally use the Auto10 because I could like load this up with so much produce, continue to chop, cut, wash, and get things ready for the next time I'm filling it up. So they each have their pros and cons. The next thing I want to tell you guys about is a special promotion that's going on right now for the Labor Day holiday. Right now until September 1st, you can save 20% off on the Auto10. This is a rare discount because normally the discount is only 10% off on the Auto10 with the coupon code DJ20 to save 20% off the Auto10 right now for a few more days only. And also right now on the Hurom H70 Labor Day special, you have a $90 off promotional coupon code you can use. We're going to call it Ginger at Hurom.com to save $90 off, which is the most money you're going to save on this machine that I use the most in my kitchen. That being said, if you missed this amazing Labor Day sale, you can also use the coupon code DJ10 right there on the Kuvings Auto10 for 10% off, or you can still use that coupon code Ginger for 10% off the Hurom H70. I encourage you guys to save up and buy these machines now while they are still on sale, because you're going to save a little bit more than if you buy them when they're off sale. The other thing I would like to tell you guys is that these juicers are one-time investments. They have a full 15-year warranty and guaranteed to work for the next 15 years. And that is your trust and confidence in the machines, that they are built to last, not like a lot of cheap, inexpensive juicers you may buy on other big box websites online. So next up, I want to share with you guys how these machines work real quick and why I really am enjoying the Hurom H70 due to its easy, clean system. Hurom has innovated juicing over the many years they've been in business, and this is their latest iteration of the machines that just make it a lot simpler to use. So if we take both these apart, you'll see they both have very similar systems. They have a hopper on the top, which you load up with the produce. So to get off the Kuvings, we press down this button and turn it, and you can see this massive, gigantic hopper with a processing blade on the inside. And then on the Hurom, we could just spin this off. You guys can see we have a much smaller hopper on the Hurom. All right, so the hoppers are pretty much the same. They got a processing blade inside there. And then the hopper, the main thing I like to point out is that the hopper, once again, on the Kuvings is just massive. That being said, I will also point out that the hopper on the Hurom is optimally designed. This is the best hopper that leaves the least amount of residue of any hopper juicer I've tested over the many years in the hopper when you're done juicing. In addition, I find out when I put my produce back in the hopper after it's been ground up to put it back in to rejuice it, especially with cubed up jicama, it always basically funnels everything in without getting it stuck to the walls. So it has an optimized hopper design and processing blade, and of course the hole on the bottom. That's what I really love about the Hurom. They just seem to really design it right. All right, so yeah, the hoppers not too different, but what is major different is the juicing parts. So if we pull out the juicing parts on the Kuvings, you can see we have a standard wiping blade that basically spins around the standard stainless steel screen, that can get clogged with pulp when you're done juicing. And then we have a standard auger. So the auger, what happens is the produce drops between the auger and the juicing screen. This auger is spinning around. It basically crushes the produce up into a smaller and smaller space until it finally squeezes out the juice, which then comes out the screen. As the juice is coming out the screen, the wiping blade is going around like windshield wipers on your car to basically squeegee off the juice and kind of dislodge any pulp. And then basically it comes out the front here. And so when you're done, of course, you got to clean the bowl, you got to clean the wiping blade, you got to clean the screen that's likely clogged up with pulp and ground in pulp in there. So you got to scrub it with a brush, and then you have the auger, right? So this is a very complex system. This is a system that Hurom many years ago invented for vertical auger juicing, because they invented the first vertical auger juicer probably about 20 years ago now, right? Nowadays, they have their latest system, which is a big improvement on this system. I see very little disadvantages to this system myself. And in this system, all you have is the auger and the juicing bowl. You're thinking, wow, John, how do they get juice when you just have an auger and the juicing bowl? Well, that's because they have a special two-part auger. You could take this auger apart, and when you put it together, you see there's like little cracks in between the lines. If you see that, you could see it, pretty clearly. But when I put it together, these are like basically very thin cracks in there. So what happens is when you put produce in this machine, it goes between the bowl and the auger. It gets ground up. As it gets ground up, juice is expressed from the produce. But then instead of going out, the juice actually falls in between the cracks and then falls out the bottom of the auger, which then goes out the juicing spout here. And then the pulp is always sitting between the outside of the bowl and the auger, and then that comes out over here. So they've really made it a lot simpler. Instead of all these pieces to clean, you literally just got to rinse off this and this with no scrubbing. And I have verified this. I've never scrubbed this machine. It's always worked beautifully. If you want to see how this machine lasted over a year without me scrubbing it, link down below to that video where I prove it has very little to no buildup. And I will also make a disclaimer, this also depends on what you're juicing. Based on what I was juicing for the first year or so, very little buildup. I am getting some buildup now when I started juicing more celery, for example, but I'll have a future upcoming video to show you guys how to get that buildup off. The buildup is not affecting the performance of the juicer. It is just purely a cosmetic thing. Of course, because there's less parts to put in there, it's also easier to assemble than the Kuvings, which, they do have these little red dots. You need to line up the red dots to make sure it's assembled properly. And then you just drop in the auger, and then you could drop in the main top housing. And then you could drop on the whole assembly onto the unit itself. So yeah, these machines are very similar, but they're both single auger vertical hopper style juicers. The main difference, once again, is the extraction method. This uses a more traditional design with a screen and an auger. This has the auger that's screenless, that is easy to clean. The Hurom runs at 60 RPM and the Auto10 runs at 50 RPM. The 10 RPM difference, in my opinion, is not going to make a significant difference in the juice quality alone. I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the main event, juicing the ginger. But before we do, because I'm not recommending you guys ever juice ginger like this, I'm going to show you guys right now how you should be juicing ginger in both these machines, as well as other vertical juicers, so that you don't have clogs, jams, or problems. Alright guys, so you guys can see I have a piece of ginger here, and the main problem with ginger is that it is very fibrous. It has basically fibers that's running up and down. Think like tree. Tree has a fibers in it that make it very strong when it's going upright, but not going, horizontally, just vertically. Same like the ginger, it has these little strings that go up and down it. And so the tips I want to give you guys when buying your ginger, number one is you want to get fresh ginger, right? The older the ginger is, the more the fibers have gotten kind of hard and stiff because there's not a lot of water content in there. They also kind of tend to dry out, and then that could cause problems with you clogging a juicer. Number one, buy fresh ginger. Number two, this is non-organic ginger. Non-organic ginger is imported from China, and generally it's pretty fresh, and it's actually has a very little fibers in it, right? I've juiced in the past organic ginger that's usually from Peru or other places, and then the fibers are more thick. The ginger is also a little bit smaller, and then that can have more of a propensity to jam. So if you are getting the organic ginger, then you definitely want to pay attention to how I cut the ginger, because I don't want you guys to put it in whole like I will be doing it today, all right? So with that, you're going to take your ginger, and you can see we have a long piece, and what you don't want to do is you don't want to cut it lengthwise. You want to cut it against the grain. So for example, think of this like a tree trunk. We want to cut it against the grain and like make little, rounds out of the tree trunk. So we're just going to put it down the long way, and then we're just going to slice it into like 1/4 inch pieces, or even 1/8 inch pieces, right? If you cut it against the grain like this, you are now cutting up all the long fibers in the ginger, so you're not going to clog. So, this is how I recommend you guys juice ginger. This is how the manufacturers say you should be juicing ginger. They're not going to recommend juicing ginger like I'm going to juice today, where I'm just breaking off pieces and putting in whole, because that could be disastrous and has been disastrous for many customers over the many years that I've been selling juicers when you don't follow my instructions. All right, so that's the disclaimer I want to give you guys. The other thing I will say is that if you really want to juice ginger in a big way and not have to pre-cut it like this, then you want to get a horizontal juicer. Horizontal juicers can deal with long ginger fibers without getting clogged or jammed, and may even do a better job juicing ginger. Link down below to my video on the Santa 727, where I literally made sawdust out of the fiber of ginger when I juiced it. The pulp was the driest that I've ever seen on any juicer with the Santa 27 and juicing the organic ginger. Anyways, next up, let's go ahead and first do a weigh-in to make sure we have a fair fight. Alright guys, so next up we're going to do weigh-in to make sure we have a fair fight. So over on the Kuvings side we got 1411.7, and on the Hurom side we got 1411.7. Looks like we got a fair fight, so let's get juicing. Alright guys, so next up we're going to go ahead and load up the hoppers with all the ginger each hopper will hold. We're going to then go ahead and turn the stopwatch on and get juicing. But before we do, I want to share with you guys some information about ginger. Ginger can be very strong, so you don't want to do like straight ginger juice. You might want to do ginger shots, or even dilute the ginger shots with other different juices. Ginger is a very powerful anti-inflammatory agent. And you definitely want to not put too much ginger into any juice, because it could ruin your juice. It's also very hot and spicy when you drink it. So yeah, those are some of the caveats. I always like to put like 1 inch or 2 of ginger in different various juices I make. It's rare that I would juice it this much. I mean, the only people that want to juice it this much, if you want to make ginger shots in advance, or maybe you're a business that wants to make lots of ginger. The reason for this video is because ginger can be particularly hard on juicers, clog and jam them up. So I want to see if these two juicers could handle it without clogging or jamming. All right, first up, let's load up the Kuvings Auto10 with the hopper extension. You can see we have large pieces of ginger here. We're just going to basically break this up, try to make it fit more easily in the Auto10, so we could probably fit the most in. Maybe we could even fit all of it in there if we just break it up into pieces. Once again, this is not how I recommend you guys juice your ginger. I do recommend pre-cutting it like I showed a little bit earlier in this episode. But as you guys can see, with the massive hopper on the Auto10, we easily fit all the ginger in there. Next up, let's go ahead and load up the Hurom H70. Break this up into pieces. So we're getting it in there pretty good so far. But as you can see, we are only able to fit a fraction of the ginger that we were in the Kuvings. You know, now we're pretty much almost maxed out on this hopper. And crank that down and we're loaded up. So you can see that's really the advantage of the Kuvings. You can just load it up. I didn't even load it that efficiently, and we still have lots of room in there. All right, next up, let's go ahead and turn on the stopwatch. And let's turn on both juicers and get juicing. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, they are both off to the races. We're gonna see how much ginger each one of these machines make and how long it takes to juice. You always wanna look when you're juicing to make sure the pulp is coming out of both machines. It's not clogged or stopped. That's a good sign. If the clog stops, if the pulp stops coming out, that's an indicator to tell you that the machine is jammed, and soon enough then the machine will probably shut off and stop working. You can see we got pulp coming out of both machines. Both machines are juicing ginger with no problem at all, and the ginger juice smells amazing. I'm just sitting here smelling it. I think in order to save you guys some time, we're going to go ahead and speed this part of the video up until we are all finished juicing ginger. And the coolest thing is, I don't even have to be here to watch these machines work. That's really the biggest benefit of these hopper design machines that are properly designed so you can walk away and let it juice without you. So alright, as you guys can see, the Kuvings Auto10 is finished juicing. It's about been 3.5 minutes. The juice is barely dribbling out and there's no more pulp moving out. So we're going to go ahead and turn this machine off. You can see it made the juice a lot faster than the Hurom H70 that's still chugging away. So we're going to go ahead and let the Hurom H70 continue to work. We'll come back at you when it's done. I did have to reload the Hurom basically one time with all the extra produce that didn't fit in the first time. Alright guys, so it looks like the Hurom H70 has finally finished, and we're now at basically 5.5 minutes. So go ahead and hit the stop. Basically it took 2 extra minutes to juice in the Hurom H70. It will take about 3 minutes quicker to clean. So basically in this way it is a wash in total time. That being said, I do want to point out the active time you are doing something, you know, so we have to take active time to load up the juicer, and then you could walk away and let it run on its own, which then the Kuvings was done faster. But now that it's done, and with the Hurom you need to actually reload it one time in between, but now with the Hurom we just have to take it apart and spray it to clean, whereas now with the Kuvings we have to sit there and scrub. So, you know, while it did take a bit longer, your overall time that it's going to take you to clean and how much work and effort you need to put into it will be less in the Hurom H70. But if you just want juice fast and all this stuff, you don't mind about the cleaning, of course the Hurom will reign supreme in that department, because it was done a whole 2 minutes faster than the Hurom. Alright, let's go ahead and tip both these up, get any extra juice out. We tipped up the Hurom, close out the spout cap. Let's go ahead and tip up the Kuvings, any final drips of juice out. And, you know, we have actually gone past the amount of juice created on these measuring cups. So we're going to go ahead and get some more precise measuring cups here for you guys, so we can actually see how much juice each of these juicers made. So first up, we're going to go ahead and take the Kuvings juice, which actually is almost overflowing. So it looks like to me the Kuvings actually made more yield than the Hurom. carefully pour this in there. It looks like a really nice ginger juice. All right, next up, let's go ahead and pour in the Hurom juice to see how much juice we made in the Hurom H70. All right, so as you guys can see, both these juicers juice the ginger without clogging, jamming, or stopping. So these would be excellent ways to juice your ginger. Once again, don't recommend you guys do this at home because this can cause you lots of headaches and problems. If you don't pre-cut the ginger like I showed you guys earlier and you have older ginger, it's a bit dried out. I mean, I just got to the store and they just literally got the fresh cases in. And I'm like, I need to buy this fresh ginger to juice for you guys to show you guys. Unfortunately, most of you guys don't live in a big city where you have access to the super freshest ginger because usually it's been sitting on the store shelf, not been sold for a while. It's just drying up, shriveling up, getting hard and more fibrous. That's why you guys really need to cut it, right? Because if you put it in uncut and try to do what I did today, the machine will clog and jam, and then when you go to take it apart, you're not going to be able to take it apart because the auger will jack up and lock all the parts in. The only way to deal with that is to then, you know, use some kind of tools like a strap wrench or get somebody strong to like literally use sheer, you know, muscle strength or strength to basically get the, you know, parts apart, which is not a fun thing to do. So I don't want that happening to you guys. Anyways, this worked great. Let's go ahead and see how much juice each of these juicers made when juicing the straight ginger. All right, let's take a look at how much each juicer made. So you guys can see over on the Kuvings side, looks like we got basically a little bit over 1,200. I'm going to call that 1,220 milliliters of juice. And over on the Hurom side, quite respectable, but we got under 1,200 milliliters of juice. I'm going to call that maybe like 1,180. So 1,180 versus 1,220, 40 milliliters more of juice in the Kuvings Auto10 that also juiced 2 minutes more quickly. Alright guys, so we just learned that the Kuvings Auto10 Reign Supreme made 40 milliliters more of juice, which is not a lot, but the next thing I want to do is actually I want to look at the pulp to see if I can see any noticeable difference in the pulp that came out of the machines. So, you know, this over on this side is the pulp that came out of the Kuvings Auto10, and this is the pulp that came out of the Hurom H70. And to me, they look pretty much the same. They're like broken down to really nice fine particle size. If I squeeze it, I mean, I will say to me when I squeeze it, the Auto10 pulp seems a little bit drier. I mean, I could pick up this pulp in the Auto10, squeeze it, there's no juice coming out, guys. But if I pick up the pulp in the H70, my perception is it just seems a little bit, tiny bit more wet. Of course, that one made 40 milliliters more, so this pulp will be more wet given that we juice the same amount. If I squeeze this, I am getting some drips out. So, you know, I definitely will say that if I squeeze this, maybe I get maybe one drip out, but it's like totally dry, right? So, I mean, basically, that's what you get when juicing the straight ginger. More yield, faster time, more cleaning. Less yield, a little bit wetter pulp, but less cleaning. Oh, and the final thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and taste test the ginger for you guys. It's been a while since I've had straight ginger shots, but we'll probably do it up to, let's see, 1 teaspoon. Don't want to do too much. All right. Shoot it back. I'm going to taste this. I'm not going to just let it go down the gullet. All right, that's like a fire going on in my tongue. It's just hot and spicy. Wow, strong. All right, well, I mean, that tasted good. Next step, let's go ahead and do the same amount from the Hurom. Hot and spicy, guys. Whew, I'm feeling it all in my mouth. This would be good on a cold winter's day, man. You just feel instantly warm. All right, guys, super hot. So, okay, the taste test, what this revealed to me is that there is a bit more particulate in the Hurom H70 juice. Also, my eyes are tearing up in my mouth. It's almost like watering now. This is how strong ginger juice is. So, guys, don't drink a lot of this stuff if you guys do shots. I think I'm actually starting to sweat now. But yeah, so this should be used in, just like very little, like to put a little bit in juices. Don't necessarily recommend juicing it straight like this. This can be probably not good for you if you guys drink too much of it. But nonetheless, I did notice some more particulate or fiber in the juice itself, which can be considered maybe a good thing because you're getting a little bit more fiber in there. But I know some people don't want the fiber, so in that case, you would just get a little sieve to put over your catch cup to strain it out before the juice comes out, okay? And, I've detected very little, if any, fiber in the Kuvings. There's a lot more pure juice, and generally that's what happens when you guys use a screened style juicer. This definitely does put less pulp in your juice, but of course increases the cleaning time. The H70 maybe puts a bit more pulp in the juice, but decreases the cleaning time. In this test also, the H70 made a little bit less yield, 40 milliliters, which is not a lot of juice, guys. That being said, in the end of this video, I always have to declare a winner of this episode, and the winner of this episode, to me, is clear. The winner of this episode is the Hurom Auto10 with the hopper extension, making it the largest hopper juicer on the market at this time. Doesn't have the need to say XL or anything, it just has the largest hopper, which you cannot dispute. Other juicers cannot literally keep up with the 4.2 liter hopper, which is frankly the largest. It also made the juice 2 minutes more quickly and made 40 milliliters more of juice. Of course, that has a nice pure clean juice for those of you guys that don't want pulp in your juice. The only downside I see of the Kuvings is that you have a little bit longer cleaning time. And if you guys want to save right now 20% off for a few days only more, make sure you guys use the coupon code DJ20 at CuvingsUSA.com. If you guys missed the 20% off promotion deal, then you guys could use the coupon code DJ10 at CuvingsUSA.com. Once again, click the link down below. That'll take you to my landing page where you guys are guaranteed to get the discounted price. That being said, the juicer that I'm looking forward to cleaning after this episode, and even though it didn't make as much yield and put a little bit of pulp in the juice, this is the machine I use more because cleaning to me is a big deal, guys. I've sold thousands of juicers over the years, and I've heard from hundreds of people over the many years I've sold juicers, and the number one complaint I get is, John, the reason why I don't juice anymore is because the cleaning is so difficult, it's so hard. They love the juice, they love drinking juice, but they don't like the cleaning. And if that's you, or you think it might be you, because you may be gung-ho about juicing now, seeing people lose weight, get healthier, all these things, and you're like, I'm going to do the cleaning no matter what it takes, and I know there's some of you guys that are just, be gung-ho and do it. The problem is, once you become no longer gung-ho about juicing and you stop juicing because of the cleaning, then you're not getting the benefit, right? And you guys know who you are. You've always started an exercise program. You did it pretty good for a month or two, maybe during New Year's, and then you stopped, right? And then, like, if there was less impediments to exercising or working out, wouldn't you do it, right? If you had a gym in your garage, you would probably, work out more than if you had to go to the gym. Right, that's how I see the Hurom H70. It takes away all the impediments because cleaning is literally as easy as rinsing it off. And despite the 40 milliliter less yield and a little bit pulp in the juice, to me, that's a worthwhile trade-off, so that in the long run, I'll be juicing more. Even when I'm not so motivated, because I can think, oh, the Hurom, it makes me smile when I look at it, because I'm like, oh, I just got to spray this off now, and then when I look at the Kuvings after this juice off, I'm like, oh man, I gotta scrub that thing off, and really not looking forward to it. So, it comes down to you. What kind of person are you, and how much juicing do you want to do over the next year, the next few years, even over the next 15 years that both these machines have a warranty? I've gotten a lot of feedback from my customers that have ordered the H70 that have used traditional screen juicers before, and they're like, wow, John, I don't dread cleaning any longer because they've cleaned juicers like this, like I have done for over 25 years until the screenless, easy clean juicers came out. So, I mean, that's just the wisdom I want to share with you guys. But in a straight off juice off, of course, the Kuvings Auto10 won. And if you don't mind cleaning, that's the way to go. But if you think that the cleaning may bother you in the future, and giving up a little yield is not a big deal, loading it in extra time is not a big deal, and you're going to be juicing more and more often, getting more fruits and vegetables in you because of it, then I'm going to say go for the Hurom H70. And right now, for maybe a few more weeks only, you guys could get $90 off the Hurom H70 by using the coupon code GINGER at Hurom.com. I don't want you guys to miss out on that special $90 off promotion that's almost as good as their last Black Friday sale, which is like $100 off. It expires in just a few days. After that, my coupon code Ginger will be good for 10% off, so you guys could save 10% off my favorite juicer that I use most at this time, which is the Hurom H70. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode juicing tons of ginger and seeing how both these machines worked without any problems, because these are two of some of the best juicers on the market at this time in 2025. And these are the only two hopper juicers I would recommend to you guys consider buying in 2025, since other machines have not been updated in several years or have the latest advancements that make cleaning easier or make loading it up significantly easier. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, be sure to share this video with other people that are considering buying a juicer to juice lots of ginger, to share how these machines can handle ginger without a problem. Also, be sure to click on the subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new upcoming episodes of Community. 5 to 7 days, you never knew what new juicers I'll be unboxing, what new juicers I'll be comparing against each other, what new vacuum blenders I'll be sharing with you guys, or what new juicing knowledge bombs and information I'll be sharing with you guys that can change your life. Make sure you click the little bell so you're notified as my videos come out, and finally be sure to check out past episodes. Past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 800 episodes at this time on this channel dedicated to you guys all about the different juicers, and I will put links down below to some of my favorite videos I've made in the past about the Kuvings Auto10 as well as the Hurom H70, so you guys could learn even more about these amazing juicers. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors.